Back in my second year of high school, I was tired of feeling ugly my entire life. I always saw guys who looked better than me getting more attention and just being overall more successful in life, and I thought that there was something wrong with me. So that's when I started binging YouTube videos like this, trying to figure out what the secret was to actually make myself look better. And as soon as I started actually working on myself, my life completely changed. I was able to get girls that I wanted. I blew up on social media because I realized how important that was when it came to your looks, and I started making a lot of money online. I actually started out selling necklaces like this. That's how I made my first $10,000 month in my junior year of high school. And I would be lying to you if I were to tell you that that wasn't mostly because of my looks. So hopefully I want to be able to give you the same info that really helped me change my life. So in this video, I have 11 ways to look better than 99% of guys, and I'm saving the very most important tips for last. So starting out is freshness and looking clean. I remember when I was in high school, everybody kind of thinks that they smell good, and it's not something you think about too much, to be completely honest with you. But when I really started honing on my appearance and like the way I looked and all this sort of stuff, I realized like, wait, most of the guys around me don't really even smell good. They kind of have like BO when they come to class. They have unibrows, they have little peach fuzz mustaches. Like all of this stuff adds up to make you kind of come off as a little bit gross. Now this is bad probably for some of you watching this right now, but it's also good to know that pretty much every guy around you doesn't care about this stuff and they're not taking care of it. So being fresh and clean is really easy. Obviously showering twice a day is a really helpful thing, but shaving your unibrow, I'm telling you, this makes a night and day difference. No guys that I knew in high school did this. Zero. I'm saying literally zero. On top of that, shaving your face. If you have peach fuzz, I hate to break it to you, it doesn't look good, especially if you're a teenager. Shave that off. Then also wear a deodorant that keeps you from smelling bad, whether it's natural, whether it's antiperspirant. I really used to think that antiperspirant deodorant was really bad for you, but after really looking into it, I found that it's not nearly as bad as I thought. It's kind of like a lie. People tell you that like all the chemicals and all this, like don't get me wrong, there's a ton of bad chemicals in a lot of products that we use, but when it came to deodorant, that was one of the ones where I kind of feel like it's a little bit of a myth that a lot of the antiperspirant deodorants are bad. Now the gel ones, like the really blue, like Old Spice gel ones, I would suggest against those. Those literally gave me rashes and burns, but regular antiperspirant works for me and I've had zero, and when I say zero, I'm like zero negative side effects. Tip number 2 is grooming. This is another one that's overlooked, and even when you start focusing on your looks, a lot of times you forget this, so maybe you could use this as a reminder. It's very obvious, but I mean, simply just clipping your nails. I mean, clipping your nails with a single nail clipper is really easy, but a lot of times you forget. When you forget, I hate to break it to you, but a lot of girls notice that sort of stuff. Guys don't notice it, but girls definitely do. And it's even worse when you have long nails that accumulate dirt under them. That just kind of looks gross. So clip them, but make sure when you clip them, you don't clip your nails too short, and make sure to file them as well. When you file them, and make sure they're not too sharp. You don't want to have like some vicious claws on you. I know it might sound appealing, but I promise you it's not. Clip your nails, fingernails, toenails, all that stuff. Stay well groomed. Tip number 3 is skincare. So something that I really thought was kind of useless, especially when I was younger. I just turned 20, by the way, with skincare. But recently I was doing a ton of research for a video I was making about skincare, an in-depth guide. And what I found is that once you turn 20, which by the way, like I said, I just turned 20, is when your skincare is really important, because the day you turn 20, you start losing 1% of collagen in your skin every single year for the rest of your life. So by the time you're like 30, 40, that age will really show on your face. You'll have saggy skin under your neck, saggy cheeks. It's known as jowls, which is pretty gross, but it's like literal sagging cheeks. You don't want that. And the best way to avoid it is by starting skincare early. Don't get me wrong, starting at 20 and all that stuff is good, but if you start while you're a teenager, moisturizing your skin, doing all this, it makes a night and day difference. And I'm telling you, the 2 most important things are, number 1, sunscreen. So I use a moisturizing sunscreen in the mornings, 50 SPF. The one I use is from CeraVe. I might link it down below, something like that. But using something like this will really make a difference over time, because the UV rays actually speed up the reduction of the collagen production in your skin. So by protecting yourself from that, you will simply look like you're aging slower than other people. And then number 2 is retinol, which is pretty much just vitamin A. It's a lot of moisturizers have it. There's retinol in a lot of products, but when you put it on your face, what it's doing is actually repairing your skin, and it can actually reverse sun damage. And there are a few other things that do this, but retinol is the most popular. So if you don't want lines on your face, saggy skin, wrinkles, all that, use retinol. It will help a lot. And a pro tip, by the way, make sure you use retinol at night before you go to sleep. It makes your skin sensitive to the sun. So if you use it in the morning, you might be going out, it might cause some issues. Use it at night before you go to sleep, and then in the morning, just wash it off. Tip number 4 is hair care. I cannot express this enough. When a guy has good hair, I'm telling you right now, it's probably the first thing that most girls, guys, adults, kids, whoever, they notice that. When a guy has majestic hair, I'm telling you, you have a presence in any room that you walk in, and people will compliment you on it. People will be jealous of you. Like, people really like when guys have nice hair. If you have straight hair, I highly recommend texture powder. Obviously, this is the Simpletics YouTube channel, so that's the brand that runs this channel. It's based on all natural ingredients, so this one has 4 ingredients. This one is meant for straight hair, and I'm genuinely telling you this. This is the best product for straight hair. The only thing that comes close, in my opinion, have it right over here, is hair clay. But this absorbs oil and makes your hair stand up. I remember when I had straight hair, I always wanted it to stand up, and when you use gel, it makes it look greasy. It just like feels kind of gross. You pump this into your hair, a few pumps, it will stand straight up. It is insane how it works. Pretty much like magic. And most of the ones you find on the market have like 20, 30, 40 ingredients, like insane chemicals. You can't read it. They're carcinogenic. Like, I don't even know how they're legal, to be honest with you. This one has 4 natural ingredients straight from the earth. Then you got the hair clay, like I was saying. This one's not even out yet. I don't know. It should be out soon, but we're gonna have it with 6 ingredients. I believe 6 to 8 ingredients is what we're shooting for. And like I said, most hair products, horrible ingredients, like 20, 30, 40 carcinogenic, parabens, all that stuff, disrupt your hormones. Not good. Simpletics is basically opposing that. We're trying to like go against the culture of using these horrible ingredients. And hair clay is good for really holding your hair in place. So if you use texture powder to make it stand up, you can throw this in. This is really good for all hair types except for coily, which is that sort of like, if you have like dark skin, you probably have coily hair. It's really curly, but other than that, that's good for every hair type. Then you have sea salt spray, which is our star product. It's one of the best sellers on Amazon. I'll link it down below. All of these will be linked below, by the way. And you got different scents. So that one was Wooden Waves. You got a vanilla scent here, Pineapple Paradise, and Tropical, which honestly at this point in time is pretty much my favorite. Spray this in your hair. It makes it look like you just went to the beach. It adds that sort of beachy, wavy flow. That's why I say like texture powder is great for straight hair, but sea salt spray, if you have wavy or slightly curly hair, it really just makes you look like a beach kind of like jacked dude. Like, I don't know. There's a reason this is our best seller. 5 ingredients too, by the way, all natural. You'll be able to read and figure out which each one is. We explain it on the back of the bottle. Tip number 5 is maintaining eye contact. Now, this is like probably throwing you in a loop right now because all this stuff is really sort of like products you can buy, stuff like that. This is more so just charisma. People pick up on your charisma. Like they notice when you're nervous versus not nervous. Like if I was making this video right now and I'm looking all to the side like this, like probably wouldn't want to listen to me as much. And especially in person, it makes a huge difference when you can look at somebody in the eyes and it's very piercing. It's very like commanding of your presence. So simply looking people in the eyes will make a big difference. All right, tip number 6 is teeth whitening. So I have a little bit of a unique approach to this. So there's a few ways to whiten your teeth and some of them I guarantee you would not think of. So let's talk about the basics. Number 1, you can use whitening strips. Everybody knows about that. They are a little bit on the more pricey side. So that's why number 2, I have using hydrogen peroxide and baking soda. You could literally make this mix for like $3. You get a giant tub of hydrogen peroxide, little box of baking soda, mix it together, swish it around your mouth. It will literally make your teeth white. The hydrogen peroxide is actually the active ingredient in whitening strips. Technically, I honestly feel like whitening strips are kind of scamming you. People just want to feel fancy. You don't really need it. So if you want to spend $3 instead of $30, that's a tenth of the price and it'll do just the job. Now, the method that you're probably not thinking of is using self-tanner on your skin. So it's one thing to make your teeth whiter. It's another thing to make your skin darker. So if you use a self-tanner on your face, there's a lot of men's self-tanners, especially recently. And if you want to use a self-tanner on your face, it will make your teeth, your eyes, and it'll just give you like a subtle glow. And I'm telling you, the video title of this is how to look better than 99% of guys. I'm telling you right now, I don't think there's probably a single guy that you know that uses a self-tanner. If there is, it's probably because he watches these videos. It will make you stand out, but you do have to make sure you don't go too crazy because if you make yourself too dark, people will notice. You don't really want it to be noticeable, but if you have a very small amount, it just adds that level of like, wow, that guy looks really good. He looks really put together. Tip number 7 is working out. Now, most guys, for whatever reason, try to push this like, oh, Sigma male, like go to the gym. You're not a real man if you don't go to the gym. I'm not even going to tell you that. I'm going to tell you the straight up truth, which is if you go to the gym versus somebody who doesn't go to the gym, your body will probably look better than them by a pretty large amount. And there's this thing called diminishing return. I remember when I used to go to the gym, when I went every single day nonstop, eating right, doing all this, I looked great, don't get me wrong. But when I was going kind of a smaller amount, like 3 times a week, I didn't look that much worse. Granted, I did look a little bit worse than when I was going every single day, but I noticed a diminishing return. So like you still get the benefits, but the benefits sort of drop off at a certain point. And I'm not saying you shouldn't go every day, because if you can and you want to, like go in on that 100%. But just going a little bit shoots you up a large large amount, and you'll thank yourself later in life. It makes it a lot easier if you start these habits while you're still young. So trust me when I tell you, going to the gym is a worthwhile investment in yourself. Tip number 8 is diet. People love to overcomplicate diet. It's really not that complicated. The few things that I'll tell you is this. Number 1, you want to stay pretty lean. If you don't have abs, I hate to break it to you, you should probably get a little bit leaner. You should probably try to lose some fat and make sure you're eating a lot of protein. Something that's really easy to do no matter what your goals are, even if you don't go to the gym, is eating a large amount of protein. You want to have high amounts of protein and lower amounts of calories. When you do that, it'll make sure that your muscle stays and then the fat kind of goes, because protein is what helps your muscles grow and whatnot. So by eating about 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, that's kind of the rule of thumb that every gym person will tell you. You probably already know it. If you don't, I'm glad to be the first one to tell you, but 1 gram of protein per 1 pound of body weight. So if I weigh 160 pounds, 160 grams of protein, it's really simple. Then as for the calories you want to eat, you can actually put in a calorie calculator. They're free on the internet. Just look it up, put in your height, weight, whatever, and it'll basically spit out a number of calories that you need to eat per day to either gain weight, lose weight, or maintain weight. As long as you follow that sort of calculator that you find on the internet, you're going to do exactly what it says. People will tell you this all the time, but abs are made in the kitchen. It's that simple. Like, the foods that you eat are what give you abs. You can do all the ab exercises you want. If you have too much fat, you're not going to see it, which is why diet's more important. It's not even a question in my opinion, especially for health, everything. I would choose a good diet over training every single day. Now, doing both, much better. But if I had to pick one, I'm picking diet every day. Number 9, and one of the most slept on tips in this video, no pun intended, is sleeping. Something I started doing recently that helped me so much. I get really anxious before I go to sleep, and I feel like a lot of you might feel the same way. I don't know, maybe I'm speaking to nobody here, but the way I see it is I get really anxious. I start thinking in my head all the time. I remember last night, I was sitting there tossing, turning in bed, and what really helped me is going on YouTube, turning on a podcast or just pretty much any video, putting it on a sleep timer. So if you click the settings tab, you can put on a sleep timer, and what that'll do is basically turn off in like whatever time you put. So I was laying there in bed, couldn't fall asleep. I put on a podcast with a 30-minute timer. So I fell asleep straight to that podcast, and then it turned off like right after I went to sleep, I'm assuming, because the timer. And it helps so much with like just blocking out your thoughts. So if you're somebody who overthinks, that really helps. And sleeping is one of the most important things for your health. You could argue it's the number 1 thing. It's between sleep and diet. I would honestly say sleep is number 1. It's not really a question. 8 to 9 hours, no questions asked. If you can't do that, you're doing something wrong. No matter how much you work, no matter what you do, that's probably the most important thing when it comes to your health. And when it comes to looks, I mean, lack of sleep is just a nightmare of what it does to you. You get more pale, you get under eye bags, acne, saggy skin. It speeds up your aging process. Like the list literally goes on. It makes your eyes red. It causes weight gain. Trust me when I tell you, 8 to 9 hours of sleep, rule of thumb. If you can't do that, try doing one of the tips I gave you. Number 10 is fashion. And to be honest with you guys, this is something I haven't focused on that much until really recently. And it made me realize fashion is a great way to express yourself. So I could tell you, oh, you have to wear this, you have to wear that. If you don't wear this thing, you're going to look ugly, da da da. I'm not even going to tell you that. What I will tell you is that fashion is a great way to express yourself, and confidence is really key. If you see someone like Justin Bieber walking around in one outfit, and you see a random guy walking around in one outfit, Justin Bieber might have more simply just like aura and like presence because of who he is. He radiates confidence. You can pretty much get away with wearing anything if you have confidence. If you've ever seen a fashion show, they wear the most absurd things. They get away with it. They get paid to wear these crazy outfits. How does that sound? So like the point is, there are certain rules of thumb, I will say. So matching your undertone, for example. So if you have green veins, and you can actually check this right now. If you have green veins, chances are you have a warm undertone. So you want to wear saturated colors like navy blue, maroon, all that. If you have blue veins, chances are you have a cool undertone, which means you should wear more cool colors like baby blue, white, black, sort of just like cool, chilly feeling colors. And undertone is a whole nother thing, but it's kind of like if you've ever put on a shirt or something and you're like, this looks good, but it doesn't look good on me, probably doesn't match your undertone. So look into that. It's really helpful. I might make an entire video on just that. Tip number 11 is accessories. Wearing accessories, to say the least, gives you at least something to talk about. If you're ever in a conversation with someone, they'll be like, oh, why do you wear that? People ask me all the time, why do I wear this necklace? I'm 20 years old wearing this puka shell. It's because it was the first business I started. It's what got me into the internet money industry. It's what got me into helping young men look better, all this. That's why I wear it. Does it look a little bit corny? 100%. Am I going to keep wearing it? Yeah, it's a conversation starter, and it kind of helps me feel my roots. You know what I mean? I wouldn't even go out and tell you like, yo, you should get this. But what I do think you should get is a nice watch. Every guy at some point in their life needs to get a nice watch. It commands a presence. It makes people look at you differently. And it honestly just gives you a level of respect. I don't know about you, but whenever I see some guy with like a nice watch, like a Rolex or something, I'm like, that guy's got it going on. I don't know what he's doing. He could, for all I know, not even have a job, unemployed, cooked, whatever. If he's got a watch watch on, I'm going to be like kind of questioning like, yo, what does this guy do? Accessories can really just bring out more of who you are. It's not going to change who you are as a person, but it can really make people curious about you. And that's just a good thing overall. You want to be social, have more interactions, everything like that. If you like this video, watch this one right here.